businessmen, no? So they sold all those banned China products all over the world. So I just, parang it just came into my mind yung gano'n, no? And also, all about sensitivity. Kanina, when I was trying to also digest yung discussions kanina, like about sensitivity, no? About the sleepers. You know, and I was thinking, if you produce a rug, for instance, and then you will brand it British or American, nobody will care, right? The Americans will not really care. The British will not really care. But if you brand it Igorot, we will care, right? Because we are overly sensitive. And that sensitivity is actually historical in nature. Parang sa mga Black Americans, there is history there kasi parang we thought of ourselves as parang lagi na lang tayong inaapi. Parang ganon, no? Paano tayo inaapi? Pati ba naman sa products, parang inaapi pa rin tayo. Something like that. But the Americans would not really feel that way. Ure man kiti, dito pagpiganan kat Amerika ko na, awang mo ti pakialam na, handa nga agrali siguro. So, well, those are just things that I thought of while listening intently to the discussion of Dr. Stanley. So, what I will do today is actually something different. No? This is, as I mentioned, tourism perspective. The topic that was given me is traditional expression, sites, and expositions. But I just like to just walk you briefly lang para you understand where tourism is coming from and the relationship of tourism and creativity. No? So, I'd like to present and walk you through the mandate. Bakit yung tourism na yan? Ano ba talaga itong tourism na yan? No? And ang mandate kasi ng Department of Tourism is here, no? Para you will understand where we're coming from and our role when it comes to culture and creativity. No? So, well, of course, we are a national government agency, and we are in charge of planning. We are in charge of programming. We are in charge of coordinating, and we are in charge of regulating the tourism industry in terms of promoting and developing as a whole yung tourism in the Philippines. And we have many attached agencies. So we work with our attached agencies, and these are, for instance, the Tourism Enterprise Zone Authority or Tourism Infrastructure and Zone Authority. Yan yung infrastructure arm of the Department of Tourism. So ito yung yung nagde-designate ng mga tourism eco zones, no? And also we have a Tourism Promotions Board. Yan yung marketing and promotions. Yan yung nagmamarket sa international and domestic. And na yung Filipino is also an attached agency of the Department of Tourism. Intramuros Administration, Philippine Retirement Authority, and yung Philippine Scuba Diving. So, madaming coverage ang Department of Tourism. Okay? Now, we cannot work alone. So, we coordinate multi-sectoral, multi-level agencies, private and government. So, we work with you. Otherwise, we cannot do tourism on our own. Okay? So, since I said planning, dapat national tourism development tayo. No? So we have formulated the National Tourism Development Plan, and which was recently approved this year by our very own President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos under the leadership of our Secretary Cristina Garcia Prasco. And the good news is that much emphasis in the National Tourism Development Plan, the vision for Philippine tourism really made emphasis on culture. No? So it said we should establish a Philippine industry anchored on Filipino culture, heritage, and identity, which aims to be sustainable, to be resilient, competitive in order to transform the Philippines into a tourism powerhouse. No? So that is our vision. And of course, there are many things to consider when you do that kind of a ambition, no? A lot macroeconomic level or yung macro level development is really huge. So, pakikialaman mo yan yung connectivity, pakikialaman mo yung convenience of travel, pakikialaman mo yung equality na tinatawag. No? Equality can mean yung the standards of the products, the things that you produce, which we consider in tourism as byproducts. And pakikialaman mo yung standards of the services, no? Where you stay, what you eat or where you eat, and generally what you buy, to form part of the whole experience when you go to the destination. So you can now see that everyone, all of you entrepreneurs, are really part of the tourism value chain. Okay, so there are several goals. There are actually several goals that we have identified to advance or to achieve the vision, no? And one of the goals which was identified is to come up with what we call multi-dimensional portfolio products. So, pag sinabi natin multi-dimensional portfolio products, ibig sabihin, madami, no? Broad range of options. But anchored on, again, Filipino culture, identity, and tradition. No? So, what we will do is to develop products that deepen the Philippine cultural experience. So, paano natin gagawin yung Philippine experience na yan? Okay, next. Okay, so I'm not gonna mention the other goals, no, but let's zero in on the multi-dimensional experiences. No, because you are part of the multi-dimensional experiences, and this would be on culinary tourism, or what we call ano tawag yan, food tourism. It can be scuba diving or water sports and adventure. No, it can be education tourism or English as a second language course. It could be farm tourism. So you can see the image here. It could be film tourism, no? Gamit the films, no? And where they use the tourism sites and other important features of the destination. And also, it can also be a beach holiday and cruise tourism. So there are many things that we would like to offer as if we want to be a tourist destination. So yung mga yun, so it can be focused on one experience, or it can be focused in the combination of all of these experiences. So broad range, and we do this because we want to lure a broad range or diverse kind of market, di ba? Kasi sa Bali, kaya tayo, di ba? So may mga iba gusto ng adventure, mga iba ayaw nila ng adventure, gusto lang nila relax or historical, like that. So okay, so just to repeat, the focus now is Philippine experience and featuring or highlighting culture, heritage, and arts caravans. Okay, next. Okay, so this is what we call cultural tourism. And we know that in the Cordillera, this is our strength. No? Ito talaga yung strength natin. Most of us are indigenous people. I am an indigenous person. So, if you can see, cultural tourism is really a strong force or a premium product of the Cordillera region. No? And when we talk of cultural tourism, it's all about traveling and engaging in or learning, discovering, experience, and consuming tangible and intangible cultural attractions. So these are for tourists who want to engage with communities. These are for travelers who want to learn, to learn. These are for travelers that want to be part of the celebrations of culture in destinations. So, yun ang isa. But among many others, coupled with other forms of tourism, which is nature and creativity also. But of course, creativity in general is already part of cultural tourism. No? Kasi nandyan yung arts, architecture, history, culinary, literature, music, creative industries, and the living cultures. Okay? Next. Okay, so, pag Cordillera ang pinag-uusapan, ang tourism ay tatlo, no? Major. Nature, culture, and creativity. And so, okay, next. So this is where the topic already come in, no? Indigenous or traditional expressions, cultural tourism sites in the region, expositions and festivals in the Cordillera region. So that's already under the cultural tourism. So yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina, cultural tourism actually yun. The knowledge about all of this, when you come and you learn about all of this material culture, as the doctor said a while ago, that's cultural tourism. Okay, and this would include indigenous arts and crafts, yung mga traditional, and then also innovations or other creations that were inspired by the traditional, no? So nagkaroon na ng innovation. Nagkaroon na ng innovation from the traditional, and then creative reuse of the traditional, and then creating another form of crafts and arts. So that's part of cultural tourism. Example, just to give you several examples, what I'm going to give you as examples are those that we have already included in the cultural tourism portfolio. Kasi we know that the Cordillera region is predominantly cultural, but there are areas that are more popular than the others, or more prominent. The features of culture is prominent in some areas. Okay? So weaving, for example, is already part of the narrative when we talk of cultural tourism. No? All these things that you see in front, for instance, the colorful fabric, the designs, tell about the indigenous people. So that is the story behind all of the designs, and also where they come from, what communities in the Cordillera these woven products come from. No? So that is part of the tourism narrative. So because tourism, as I always say, is bringing the product, is bringing the tourist or the market to the product, di ba? So kung weaving ang product mo, you may not go to the market and display them, kasi that's the trade. Yan yung trade strategy. You go to the market, you go to Manila, you exhibit so that tourists can buy, or public can buy. But in tourism, you bring the market, you bring the tourists to the communities, you bring them to the destinations so that they will buy. Nakatipid ka pa ng transportation. So that's yun yung differential